We may never see the reunion of the legendary rock group Runaways because of conflicts between the members and Joan Jett. Dubbed the Queen of Rock and Roll, Joan contributed to making the Runaways an iconic Hollywood group. However, contrary to what people often think about the group's harmony, the Runaways are actually a mess. Joan Jett was widely blamed for the group's breakup, especially by Lita Ford. To know more about Runaways' thoughts on Joan Jett, don't miss this video. Cherie Currie reflects on her fateful encounter with Joan Jett. Cherie Currie's captivating memoir, Neon Angel, a memoir of the Runaways, offers a vivid account of her unexpected journey into the world of rock and roll. One of the most pivotal moments in the book occurs when Currie, depicted on the right side of the story, recounts a fateful encounter in a dimly lit club. This encounter would set in motion a series of events that would forever change her life. As the story unfolds, Currie describes the atmosphere of the club that evening, an environment where the air is thick with the scent of rebellion and dreams. She paints a scene where the club's atmosphere is brimming with an almost conspiratorial vibe, with an undercurrent of uncertainty. It's in this ambiance that she was approached by someone, a figure who seemed to exude an enigmatic charm, yet simultaneously ignited her suspicions. The person extended an invitation to Currie to audition for a band that was in the process of being formed, a proposition that both intrigued and alarmed her. Currie's anticipation and apprehension are palpable as she recalls arriving at the audition. Her recounting of this pivotal moment highlights the uncertainty she felt at the time. The atmosphere at the audition was electric, charged with the energy of possibility and the potential for life-altering change. In the midst of it all, Joan Jett made her appearance, and Currie's description of her is nothing short of awe-inspiring. Joan Jett, just a teenager at the time, emerged onto the audition stage with a guitar slung confidently around her neck. Currie's words convey a powerful transformation that occurred at that moment as if Jett had shed her earlier shyness and withdrawn demeanor. She describes Jett as a seasoned professional, even at such a young age, a mesmerizing presence who effortlessly commanded the attention of everyone in the room. What's particularly striking in Currie's recollection is the way she captures the duality of her emotions. On one hand, she was overwhelmed by a deep sense of intimidation in the face of Jett's undeniable talent and charisma. Yet on the other hand, she found herself irresistibly drawn to Jett's magnetic aura. The juxtaposition of these conflicting emotions, intimidation and fascination, underscores the profound impact that Joan Jett had on Currie in that pivotal moment. Cherie Currie's recollections of her early interactions with Joan Jett are both revealing and endearing, shedding light on the dynamic that would ultimately shape the Runaways' legendary career. As she delves into their initial encounters, it becomes evident that Joan Jett was already a notable figure in the music scene, having climbed a few rungs up the ladder of fame. Currie's description of her being starstruck when she first encountered Jett speaks volumes about the magnetic allure that Jett possessed even in her youth. In those early moments when Currie and Jett crossed paths, there was an unmistakable aura of potential surrounding Jett. Currie, with her keen intuition, sensed that Jett was destined for greatness in the music industry. This intuitive insight reflects not only the depth of Jett's talent, but also the unmistakable charisma that she carried with her. What makes this story even more compelling is the down-to-earth nature of Joan Jett that Currie discerned during their initial interactions. Despite her budding fame, Jett exuded an approachability and warmth that instantly put Currie at ease. It was a stark contrast to the often aloof or pretentious personas that one might expect from rising stars. When Currie shook Jett's hand for the first time, she felt a sense of friendliness emanating from her, and this gesture helped to ease the initial tension. This impression of Joan Jett as approachable and friendly would prove to be more than just a first impression. It was during that very first audition, as Currie vividly recalls, that Joan Jett, alongside manager Kim Fowley, stepped aside for a brief moment. During this hiatus, they embarked on an impromptu creative endeavor, penning a song that would later become one of the Runaways' most iconic hits, Cherry Bomb. In the depths of her early songcraft, the image of songwriters and rock stars often conjures up notions of individuals who have always exuded confidence and an innate ability to lay bare their innermost thoughts through their music. However, as Joan Jett's own reflections reveal during her conversation with WNYC Studios in 2013, this perception doesn't always align with reality. Joan Jett, the iconic rock musician and songwriter, offered a glimpse into her own journey, emphasizing that the early days of her career were marked by a unique blend of vulnerability and creative flow. For Joan Jett, the period spanning a little over 3 years when she was a part of the Runaways holds a special place in her heart. She described this era as one of the most magical times in her life. This sentiment sheds light on the transformative power of music and the camaraderie that often forms among musicians during their formative years. Despite the fame and success that would later define her career, Jett's recollection reminds us that even legendary artists have moments of profound nostalgia and appreciation for their humble beginnings. One of the most intriguing aspects of Joan Jett's interview is her insight into the process of songwriting, especially during the early stages of her career. She expressed that writing songs was notably easier back then. Her explanation offers a fascinating perspective on the creative process. Jett suggested that the simplicity and ease of expression during those initial years were likely due to being at the outset of her musical journey, where the wellspring of inspiration and emotion was brimming to the top. Currie's account touches upon the unconventional management style of Kim Fowley, who, while being a source of bizarre and creative verbal abuse, also played a role in the songwriting process. It is noteworthy that Fowley's involvement in songwriting had an ulterior motive, securing a share of the songwriting royalties. This reveals an exploitative aspect of the music industry, where young and inexperienced artists like the then 15-year-old Currie were often taken advantage of by savvy managers and industry professionals. Currie's insight into Jett's mindset during this period is particularly revealing. She notes that Joan Jett, despite her undeniable talent, didn't initially have the confidence to write songs independently. This vulnerability stemmed from the pervasive influence of Kim Fowley, who had a knack for making young musicians feel as though they depended on him for their success. This dependency on Fowley was not limited to Joan Jett alone, but extended to the entire band, as Currie pointed out that Fowley had a way of instilling insecurity in all of them. The notion that Joan Jett felt compelled to collaborate with Fowley because she doubted her own songwriting abilities underscores the impact of mentorship, manipulation, and the power dynamics that can exist within the music industry. It also highlights the challenges faced by young artists in asserting their creative independence, especially when they are subjected to a culture of dependence on authoritative figures like managers and producers. Looking back, as Currie reflects, it becomes evident that Joan Jett possessed the talent and capability to write songs on her own. However, the prevailing atmosphere of insecurity and the influence of Kim Fowley created a situation where she chose to collaborate, even when it may not have been necessary. Sandy West and Cherie Currie discuss the battle between Jett and Ford. The year 2000 marked a significant moment in the history of the Runaways as two of its former members, Sandy West and Cherie Currie, granted an illuminating interview to Backfire. The band had experienced a meteoric rise to fame, but ultimately self-destructed in a blaze of glory, leaving behind a legacy that burned brightly but was relatively short-lived in the grand scheme of things. At the time of this interview, rumors of a potential reunion had been circulating for a while, and it was Lita Ford who had been particularly vocal in condemning Joan Jett for her perceived reluctance to reunite the band. However, West and Currie had their own perspectives on the matter, shedding light on the complexities of the situation. One of the central points of contention revolved around the alleged attempts to orchestrate a reunion and secure a $1 million record deal. According to West and Currie, it was Lita Ford who had taken the lead in setting up this potentially historic event. She had arranged to contact Joan Jett immediately after Jett had endured an incredibly exhausting international flight. In her fatigued state, Jett understandably may not have been in the best mindset to engage in such a pivotal conversation. This, however, did not sit well with Ford, who reportedly became irate and threw a fit when Jett didn't respond as expected. This initial encounter, characterized by exhaustion and miscommunication, led to the collapse of the reunion discussions. Cherie Currie continued to provide insights into the subsequent developments. She revealed that the reunion negotiations continued to falter, with Ford being the one who ultimately refused to cooperate behind the scenes. Currie's narrative contradicted the notion that Joan Jett had been the obstacle to a Runaways reunion. In fact, she portrayed Jett as a supportive figure throughout the process, challenging the prevailing narrative that had painted Jett as the antagonist in the band's history. In Currie's view, Lita Ford's behavior and actions were at the heart of the issue. She went so far as to suggest that Ford's instability played a significant role in the failure to reunite the Runaways. The interview, thus, unveiled the intricate dynamics and interpersonal conflicts that can often shape the course of a band's history long after its initial rise to fame. Lita Ford, Joan Jett, and the ill-fated dream of a Runaways reunion. The year 2018 marked a significant milestone for the Runaways as their 40th anniversary approached. For fans and music enthusiasts, it seemed like the ideal time to hope for a reunion, a momentous occasion that could potentially mend old wounds and rekindle the magic of their iconic band. However, as the anniversary loomed, Lita Ford, one of the band's former members, made it abundantly clear that reconciliation was not in the cards, and she laid the blame squarely on Joan Jett. During an event in Las Vegas, Lita Ford was asked about the prospect of a Runaways reunion, and her response left little room for ambiguity. She emphasized that Joan Jett seemed firmly entrenched in her own world, aptly referred to as Joan Jett land. Ford's implication was that Jett's manager had significant control over her career decisions, including the possibility of a reunion. It was suggested that Joan Jett's manager held sway over her, and Ford insinuated that this interference had a direct impact on Jett's stance against a reunion. Ford went on to reveal that her frustration with the situation had escalated to the point where Joan Jett's manager had even accompanied them during dinner, further cementing the notion that he played a central role in Jett's career and decision-making process. Despite these tensions and the public stance against a reunion, Lita Ford hinted that the possibility of reuniting with her former bandmates wasn't entirely off the table. However, she acknowledged that it would require a substantial effort to resolve the behind-the-scenes conflicts and disagreements that had accumulated over the years. The path to reconciliation, it seemed, was laden with obstacles, and the wounds of the past had not yet healed. Perhaps the most poignant revelation in Ford's interview was her candid admission that the sense of familial camaraderie among the pioneering bandmates had eroded over time. She expressed a clear sense of detachment, stating that she did not view the other girls from the Runaways as family anymore. The conflicts and rifts had taken their toll, pushing them further apart. When Lita Ford yearned for her desperately. Lita Ford's memoir, Living Like a Runaway, delves into the tumultuous and sometimes conflicted dynamics that unfolded within the Runaways, a group of teenage girls catapulted into the spotlight in a male-dominated music industry. While it's apparent that Ford's relationship with Joan Jett may not have always been on the most amicable terms, her candid storytelling provides a window into a pivotal moment that revealed a profound bond between them, transcending any personal differences. The memoir unflinchingly confronts the inevitable conflicts that arise when young and ambitious musicians are plucked from relative obscurity and thrust into the unforgiving world of fame and the music business. Ford's narrative paints a vivid picture of the challenges they faced as they navigated the trials and tribulations of their meteoric rise. One of the standout moments in Ford's account is the recounting of a terrifying night, a night when the girls discovered that, despite their differences and occasional discord, they had each other's backs. This episode underscores the deep camaraderie and unspoken solidarity that can develop among artists who have faced the same pressures, challenges, and gender biases in the industry. The Runaways tour in Japan took an unexpected and harrowing turn during what would become their final show on that particular tour, as detailed in Lita Ford's memoir, Living Like a Runaway. This incident would not only serve as a pivotal moment in Ford's life, but also highlight the depth of the connections between the band members, especially with Joan Jett. During that fateful night, Ford suffered a dramatic fall down a flight of stairs, an accident that would lead to a cascade of alarming events. In the aftermath of the fall, Ford encountered a man from Texas who provided her with some pills. The consequences of taking these pills were dire, as she later woke up to a horrifying discovery. She was hemorrhaging blood. It's a chilling and precarious situation that Ford found herself in, far from home, and in a state of medical emergency. In this moment of crisis, Joan Jett and Cherie Currie stepped into the scene. They ventured to Ford's room, likely concerned for their bandmates' well-being. However, as the gravity of the situation became apparent, they left, possibly feeling helpless or uncertain about what more they could do at that moment. The situation did not improve, and Ford's condition continued to deteriorate. She was subsequently rushed to the hospital, facing a life-threatening situation. Ford herself admitted that she never fully understood what had transpired or why she had been hemorrhaging blood. It was a terrifying and bewildering experience that she had to endure. However, the most poignant and unexpected aspect of this ordeal was Joan Jett's presence at Ford's bedside. Although Ford noted that she and Jett had not been particularly close or had not hung out together extensively before, seeing Joan asleep in a chair next to her hospital bed left a profound impact on her. At that moment, a deep sense of respect and camaraderie seemed to transcend any prior differences or distance between them. Ford's sentiment that the Runaways were never a team, but that said a lot to me, captures the essence of the experience. Despite the band's internal conflicts and personal dynamics, the bonds they formed during their shared journey were genuine and resilient. Joan Jett's presence by Ford's side during a moment of extreme vulnerability and distress demonstrated the solidarity that existed among these young women who had faced the challenges of the music industry together. Vicky Blue's tragic contemplations regarding Jett's intrusion in her film. The release of Edgeplay, a film about the Runaways, in 2004 was a significant event for fans and followers of the iconic rock band. Directed by Victory Tischler Blue, who is better known as the Runaways' bassist, Vicky Blue, the documentary offered an intimate and revealing look into the lives and experiences of the band members. However, the absence of Joan Jett and the exclusion of the band's music from the documentary raised eyebrows and left many wondering about the underlying reasons. One of the most striking aspects of Edgeplay was the absence of Joan Jett from the interviews. Joan Jett, a pivotal figure in the Runaways' history and a prominent artist in her own right, was notably missing from the documentary's lineup of interviews. This absence left a void in the storytelling, as Jett's perspective and experiences were a crucial part of the band's narrative. The documentary's decision to exclude the band's music was equally perplexing. The absence of the Runaways' music from a film about the band itself was a glaring omission. The soundtrack of the Runaways' songs played an integral role in their rise to fame and the cultural impact they made. The absence of their music not only left a significant void, but also felt like a missed opportunity to provide viewers with a more immersive experience of the band's world. The reason behind this omission became clear: Joan Jett's refusal to sign off on the rights to the band's music for the documentary. While the exact motivations behind Jett's decision were not elaborated upon in the information provided, it hinted at possible tensions or disputes related to the use of the band's music and her involvement in the project. This decision by Joan Jett to withhold the rights to the band's music added an intriguing layer of complexity to the documentary's narrative. It underscored the potential frictions and unresolved issues that may have lingered among the band members, even years after their time together as the Runaways. Tischler Blue's initial approach to the documentary involved curating a film that encapsulated the band's spirit, drawing from a treasure trove of live performances and behind-the-scenes footage. Her intent was to craft a narrative that celebrated the camaraderie, ambition, and resilience of the Runaways, highlighting the unique and transformative experience they shared as young female musicians in a male-dominated industry. However, the project encountered a significant roadblock when Joan Jett refused to participate and withheld the rights to the band's music. This unexpected development forced Tischler Blue to embark on a challenging journey of reimagining the documentary from the ground up. The sudden shift in direction was perplexing not only to her, but also to fans and observers of the Runaways' legacy. Tischler Blue's bewilderment at Jett's decision was palpable. She expressed her confusion and bafflement regarding the situation, particularly in light of the fact that Jett had chosen to collaborate with another documentary project that had substantial overlap with her own. This juxtaposition of events left her and many others scratching their heads, searching for answers to the enigma surrounding Jett's involvement. Amidst the complexity of the situation, Tischler Blue found solace in one unequivocal statement she was comfortable making on behalf of Joan Jett. This statement revolved around the memory of drummer Sandy West, a beloved member of the Runaways. Tischler Blue's assertion that Sandy's heart was pure, she just wanted to play music and that was it really, serves as a poignant tribute to West's unwavering dedication to her craft and her role within the band. It is a testament to the enduring impact of Sandy West's character and her commitment to the pure essence of music, a sentiment that resonates deeply within the world of the Runaways and their legacy. What do you think about the comments about Joan Jett from her old friends? Leave us your comments in the section below. We hope you have found this helpful video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this, and see you in the next videos. Goodbye.